Blog Talk Radio.
This episode of Video Marketing Madness is made possible by Aweber. Aweber, the easy way to be able to do email marketing, get opt-ins, and of course, promote your latest products. If you want to start doing newsletters and promoting products via email and collecting and making lists, then head on over to raisebonuses.com. Oh, let me change that again. Boy, I do that every week.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to have to recreate that so that we have it on both. raythevideoguy.com/Aweber, and that will take you over to purchase the lovely Aweber product, which we all know and love. So there you go.
Exactly.
Now, on today's show, we've got potentially a very special guest. We've got Owen Hemsath is going to try and join us. We had a bit of a weird scheduling thing, which we may or may not talk about during the show. We'll see how that goes. But he should be joining us in a little bit. And until then, we're going to hit with news and all of the other fun stuff that we normally do. So there you go.
Yeah, we like to talk. We'll be fine. So
that we do.
He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy.
It's the online marketing radio show, Video Marketing Madness with Ray the Video Guy. I'm Steve Sleeper. You can like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Video Marketing Madness. Get plenty of useful tips and news of the week. If it's not showing up in your timeline on Facebook, just like a few of the stories and it will. Ray's Facebook Mastermind group is group/online video marketers. Get views for your videos and questions answered. We're live Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. Join the conversation at 818-369-1423. Ray's video marketing tip of the week is coming up at the end of the show. And we should have Owen. He's going to PM you when he gets home, right?
Yep, I believe that is the case, and then we will dial him in.
Yeah, we should be able to just call him up on Skype. And if he's not able to make it, we'll, which he should, but if not, we'll just talk about the latest toys that Ray is looking at from a video marketing standpoint. Is that your dog in the background?
I was just going to ask if you could hear the wonder dog yapping away back there.
Yeah, I could hear him a little bit. It sounds like you're either, well, I know you got a noise gate now, so it's...
No, you know what, actually, I'm not even using it.
Oh, you're not? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't quite figure it out if it was the dog or not, but,
hopefully he'll stop. He's gotten into this barking thing lately, especially at night, for whatever reason. He likes to go a little crazy, so...
that was a little crazy,
Yes.
Oh, boy. What kind of dog is he?
That's a little Yorkshire Terrier.
Oh, okay. So,
it's not a real dog.
A drop-kick dog was what I was going to say.
Yes, a drop-kick dog. Definitely a drop-kick dog.
Well, it was the move was probably tough on him. He's probably wondering where he's at.
Nah, I don't think so. He's too small.
Is he? Okay. Well, hey, why don't we news of the week? Okay, yesterday, at what time? It doesn't say what time I printed this, but it was in the morning. Google came out and said there's more searches on mobile than desktop as of yesterday.
That is true. I saw that, yes.
Slightly more. It's a little more than 50-50 now, so.
Kind of scary.
Yeah. And they wrote a 2-page article on it. Search engine land did, and that's really all it said.
I don't think anybody's too surprised by that. I mean, if you think about it, a lot of times people are searching things just because they're out somewhere, they've got their phone, and they got nothing else to do. So they just start hitting the old search. So there you go.
Yep. Now, my wife's got an iPhone, and she's always doing something on it at night.
Yep.
What I don't know. Searching for some... Oh, wait a minute. What, boy? What?
Timmy's down a well?
Paul got all liquored up and drove his truck off a ridge.
You know, it's funny. There used to be speaking of that, not that this has anything to do with news, but it's kind of an interesting story. There was back where I used to live, there was a guy, and he used to take his horse. And this is years ago, but he used to take his horse and he would go down to this little, for lack of a better word, little roadhouse, little saloon, and he would do that. He'd get all liquored up, and they would take him back out and they would put him on his horse, and the horse would take him home every day.
Yeah.
Imagine that, right?
Imagine that, yeah. Okay, this is from Search Engine Watch. Google reveals search analytics report for more refined data, and this has been announced in a number of different media, but in the webmaster tools, they're letting you break it down by more stuff, different ways. You can compare mobile traffic before and after mobile. What do they call it? Mobile Gideon? Mobile Geddon?
Mobile Geddon, like Armageddon.
Mobile Geddon. Okay. See, I was trying to pronounce it phonetically, and it just didn't work.
Yes, they're trying to say it's like Armageddon, but for websites.
Mobile Geddon.
They spell it wrong, though, because I think there's an H in Armageddon, G-H.
Yeah. Okay,
so that's why they goof it up.
You know, it's the dog. The dog threw me off.
That could be it.
But anyhow, they got more stuff in the webmaster tools, and you can get that story. And it's in the Facebook fan page at facebook.com/video marketing madness. I feel like I smoked some dope today or something. I don't know. I don't do any drugs. I don't drink.
So he says, folks. So he says.
I wouldn't have a wife if I did, believe me. Okay, this comes from Search Engine Watch. NPR and Shazam, early adopters of Google's app voice search feature. So the voice command, OK Google, will now launch third-party apps on Android devices.
Nice. Am I the only person who every time I see the website Shazam, I just picture Shaquille O'Neal in a strange little outfit?
Well, that could be. However, me being old, I think of Gomer Pyle. Shazam!
That's true. That is true. I didn't think of that.
So now you can say listen to NPR and you can listen to National Public Radio.
No.
Yeah. Get a bunch of left-wing pap.
You're listening to NPR.
You're listening to NPR, National Public Radio.
Oh, boy.
Or you can say, Shazam, this song. It's kind of a slow news week.
It is. It's it's interesting. However, we do have some breaking news. We need a soundtrack for breaking news. Breaking news. Well, apparently, the NSA, the mass call tracking has just been announced as illegal by an appeals court. So all you folks that are afraid of the NSA spying on you, that may have just been brought to at least a temporary end.
Oh.
We'll see if that's all true. Like I said, I'm seeing that popping up in the news here. I have no way to verify that is totally true yet, but I am seeing that here, and that may be the case.
What's your dog's name?
The dog's name is Reese.
Reese? What do you think of it?
You know, the thing is he's across the house. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
He's not anywhere near here. He's like in the way out in the other room. I wish he'd go out and hang out by the pool like he did yesterday.
Yeah.
That would be a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, Reese. I hear you, buddy.
The problem is there's rabbits out there and things like that, and so he gets a little excited. And there's a couple of birds nesting by the back door, and so he likes that as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I've got a chocolate lab that if you say squirrel to her, she goes, oh, what? Squirrel? Okay, this is from Search Engine Watch. is the Yahoo Bing network emerging from Google's shadow. And basically what this article says is Yahoo and Bing account for 28% of the search market.
My question would be this. Weren't they like 33% not that long ago, so they're going down?
Yeah, well, didn't Yahoo get a bump because of the Firefox?
They did, yes.
And then that bump went down. But basically what this article is saying is that the folks placing pay-per-click ads are still doing it all on Google, and they're not looking at Bing and Yahoo. 66% of companies advertising on Google alone may potentially be missing out on a third of consumer searches. 32% of advertisers, only 32% of advertisers are using Bing and Yahoo.
I don't like the way that Bing provides the results. To be perfectly honest, I like Google's layout and everything better. So,
well, and sometimes I wonder it's great to say that Bing and Yahoo have 28%, but what does that translate down to the local level?
Right?
And is it worthwhile running stuff? Where maybe you're trying to get a certain percentage of 10 searches a month, and you know what I'm saying. A lot of local searches are 10 searches a month, and there's a bunch of different keywords for 10 searches a month, and that's Google. That's Google. Okay, so you know what I'm saying. You're trying to capture all the searches for dogs barking in the background in what's the name of the town you live in? Lake Elsinore, California. And there's a whole variety of those different keywords. Yorkies barking in the background, Lake Elsinore, California. Drop-kick dogs.
I'll tell you, if you searched that, there'd probably be some good results because there are a lot of Yorkie-sounding dogs in this neighborhood barking all day and night.
Oh, great.
So when I think it's my dog, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's not even him. That's some other dog. And so there's a bunch of them around here.
I got a beagle that will do that. She sits on top of the love seat that's in front of the picture window, and she'll see something out there, and she'll go, ooh, how the hounds are rude. And so, occasionally I'll look out the window, there's nothing there.
I know. I don't know what they're going after. They're barking at something.
Well,
don't know what it is.
We think she's getting a little senile or dementia. She's 13, so she can't hear, which is fun. I can sneak up behind her. Especially small dogs are fun to torture.
Good to know.
Yeah. eMarketer, global tablet audience to total 1 billion this year.
Nice. And what about 9.3 billion of them are iPads?
Yeah, could be. By 2019, 1.51 billion people worldwide will use tablets. So that's a lot of tablets.
That is a lot of tablets, and it's an interesting market because some tablets show up as mobile and some do not, depending upon the size and things of that nature.
Oh, that's right. Okay, hey, we got a... I'm here, by the way, says Owen. Let's try... Okay, hold on.
Let's try to Skype him in here.
Okay, hold on. Let me do this first.
And now for something completely different.
Okay, and then let's try...
Now for something completely different.
Let's add to group call.
We'll see if we can kill the entire show. I see his name on the screen. So we'll see if that works. Oh, and look, I think he's here.
There he is.
Yeah, hello.
Hey.
Hello, Owen.
Hello. Good. It's good to hear from you guys.
It is. It's good to be heard. And as I found out this morning, I didn't realize that I lived as close as I do. I could literally, harass you
Yeah, you could literally tag my house, in the still of the night and get away with it. Or do what used to do. We used to go to the neighbors' houses of like the kids at school we didn't like, and we'd turn off their power boxes. You go into their electric panels, turn off all the lights, and then run away.
I could TP your house tonight.
Yeah,
so
yeah, exactly. You could.
Be aware.
You are a stone's throw away, and I think that's really cool because you're also in it's like a different neighborhood. So we're able to combine the strengths of our neighborhoods into, one big powerful community, and that's cool.
That's right. Yeah, I was surprised as I was goofing around with Facebook today that there's quite a few people in our various Facebook groups and things like that actually live in this area.
Yeah.
So I knew a lot of people live near San Diego, but we're a little farther away. But a lot of them
that's
here.
What everybody see. That's the trick too. Is like when you live in Vista, right? Because Vista is like half really cool town, and then half cow country. So when you live in Vista, and people from out of town are like, "Oh, where do you live?" You're like, "San Diego." The truth of the matter is, your mailing address is the city. Or San Marcos, and these are all really nice towns, but in the big scheme of things, I'm San Diego.
Yeah, and I kind of say that too a lot of times, but I'm actually not as close to San Diego as I originally thought.
So Owen, I thought you lived in Oceanside. You don't? You live out?
It's pretty close to Oceanside. It's right there.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So how
across the street you're.
How far away are you from Ray then?
25 minutes, maybe.
Say again. Say one more time.
How far away from Ray are you?
Oh, yeah, like 25, 30 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like literally the highway right down the street here. I jump on it, head south, and go right to Vista. So. Yeah,
and there's shortcuts, so I'll have to show you those shortcuts because if you cut through, you don't have to go 78 to the 5. You could just cut right through some of these like farm towns,
nice.
The avocado farms, and it's a much shorter ride. My wife works just right up the street too. She works in at one of the high schools out here. So, we're out here all the time, and it's a beautiful neighborhood. It's a growing neighborhood, a great economy out here, great people out here. So it's a nice place to live, I think.
Nice. I agree. I'm probably going to get kicked out at some point. Is what's going to happen.
Again?
Yeah. I look around and I see all these houses here, and everybody's driving like BMWs and Jaguars, and I've got my 10-year-old beat-up car that, or it's more than 10 years old now. It's like 13 years old, beat-up car sitting in the driveway. They're probably going to have me evicted at some point.
Yeah, there's an HOA thing, I think, against Fords and Chevys. You have to check into that. Reminds me of that episode of Duck Dynasty where Jace is harvesting a deer in his driveway. And they're like, the HOA says you can't do that. And he's like, it's my driveway,
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. I actually went shopping the other day because I still haven't registered the car. Hope nobody important is listening. And so it's still a Utah car, but I figure it's probably easier to just go buy a car than it is to go through the whole process myself and stand in line. So
wow, you're really rolling in that affiliate marketer money, aren't you?
Yeah.
Jeez Louise, he just dropped that. I mean, I was going to buy a new car. I could just go register it for $42, but
I'll go out and spend a couple grand.
When in Rome.
It's almost time anyway. I live way up on a very steep hill, and that poor car does not appreciate that hill anymore at this point. So.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, if you drove it down from Salt Lake maybe or wherever the heck you were before, then it's got some miles on it.
Oh yeah, it's like a 200,000-mile car at this point in time.
Yeah,
and it's how do we put it politely? Not well cared for.
Yeah, it's like cigarette burns in there, and it's like you don't even smoke. Somebody homeless people actually come smoke in your car.
Well, it's funny because you talked about the dichotomy of your town being kind of half cool and half Hickville, and my town is like half wealthy, half homeless. And so,
yeah. Well, they're either homeless or they're hipsters. I can't tell with the beards. It's kind of like this new hip thing is not just the beard, but to wear disgusting clothes as well. You say hey to your buddy and you pat him on the back and a big pile of dust comes on.
It's like the '90s grunge movement all over again.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I was like in high school for that, and I remember thinking, because I was just fashion clueless in high school, and I remember just thinking, why does everyone look so dirty?
Why is everyone dressed like a lumberjack? I don't get it.
Cool Doc Martens, bro.
Doc Martens and LL Bean flannel shirts, what can you say?
That's where it was. That's where it was at.
Well, now, so in case you missed it, we are here on the Fashion Hour with Owen and Ray talking about fashion of the decades.
Fashion Sense with Owen and Ray.
Now that would be quite a show. Wow.
I actually did a show called Fashion Sense. Me and this, one of my gay classmates, and it was a great dichotomy, because he was just like all out there, like, oh, you've got to wear the sweater, and and I'm not exactly thinking, oh my gosh, this guy is such like a homophobe. No, this is how the guy talks. It's on YouTube. You can go check it out. But the whole it was Fashion Sense spelled with a C, right? CENTS. So the whole it was like how to look better on just a dime or something like that. And we would go to like Goodwill and of course DI, and because I was in Salt Lake at the time, and we would pick out these just cheap outfits and make some random person on campus look cooler. It was a fun show. But I am
now we're going to take our bedazzler.
Oh, that's great.
So there you go. So we did mention YouTube at least, so we're back on topic here.
Yeah, we threw it in there.
So that's Fashion Sense. I need to go check that out.
Yeah, it's on there. I think we did 2 episodes.
I'm not well known for my fashion sense. So SENSE, but
yeah.
So I do need to check that out.
I buy all my clothes at Walmart.
I did an experiment. I tried one of those clubs that you see advertised all over Facebook for a little while.
I remember that.
My idea was, hey, what I'm going to do is I'm going to join one of these and get nice clothes, and then use it as a way to become an affiliate and sell them.
Yeah.
However, what I discovered quickly was even their good deals really weren't that good of a deal. And I think the clothes were created by somebody who only had a vague idea of what a human shape was.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was essentially that human shape was like a chocolate bar, like a really thin chocolate bar. No hips. There's no hips there at all.
Well, I got a couple of shirts from them, and you put them on, and you couldn't lift your arms.
Oh yeah.
It was very, very strange. Like you lift your arms and you couldn't lift them up because it was like constrained. And I'm not a huge guy. I'm not tall and I'm not obesely gigantic, but I'm not a skinny guy either. But I ordered the extra large shirt, figuring, give me some room and everything. I could barely button the things up.
Yeah.
I mean, it was ridiculous. I'm like, what in the world is this?
Like the opposite of that kid from A Christmas Story, where he can't put his arms down. It's like the opposite. You're like, I can't put my arms up.
You couldn't lift your arms. I mean, they were nice looking shirts, but I didn't feel that the quality was there. They tried to pass it as high quality clothing, and quite frankly, I didn't really feel it was. It didn't seem any better than heading over to I don't know what the
mall or whatever.
Yeah, the mall, and the price was about the same. They said, "Oh, you're getting it for half price," and I'm thinking, so this is a $80 shirt? I don't think so. You
know what? It might be though, because I run into that too. Being a thinner guy, a lot of that stuff, a lot of what's out there is made for people my size. And half the time I'm looking at this stuff and I'm just like, this is just like ugly, like this is just like it's supposed to be fashionable. Like MC Hammer pants are coming back in. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, right? Like where they're really tight around the ankles but then really baggy in the crotch, you know what I mean? And people are walking around the store, they're actually sashaying around the store in these pants. And it's just kind of like, you look foolish. Correct? Like, we're grown men. So, like, there's nobody here I'm trying to impress. I want to look nice on camera, look nice at my meetings. But I'm almost at this point where I don't want to buy any more new clothes. I'm just going to register for more conferences. Because I always get, like, a shirt or there's like, you know, a belt or something. There's some kind of swag that I can wear. You know, right now I'm wearing my FameBit T-shirt that I got from the FameBit team, and you know, I'm perfectly content.
Oh,
what happened to Owen?
Oh no, he's been sucked into the abyss.
The Skype abyss. You there, Owen? Yeah, he'll come back.
Oh,
I lost
hey, there he is.
there. Whoa, man, right at my punchline. Dang it.
Oh, well.
So what else is happening?
Well, you know, we're doing this little marketing show here, and we wanted to bring you on to talk a little bit about what you're doing.
Well, let's talk about. I mean, you know, your health has been on Facebook. You just, and I'm figuring you're okay talking about this.
Yeah, please.
So, is the diagnosis lymphoma, or is it? Could it be something else, or because Ray said you went to the doctor to discuss the test results and they're inconclusive.
Yeah, the test results are inconclusive. So what happened was that the doctors had diagnosed me after a series of tests with lymphoma, and Hodgkin's or non-Hodgkin's. That was kind of what we were going to the doctor to find out today.
So you have lymphoma.
I think I have lymphoma.
Uh-huh.
I don't know at this point,
Okay.
and that's part of why. You know, it never ends. It never ends, and I'm a pretty optimistic guy. I'm at the point right now where I'm not frustrated with the doctors. I'm frustrated with just life itself and how it works out, because they want to have all their numbers in. And his thing, he walked in today. He says, "I've been analyzing your test," and he's like, "It just doesn't look like lymphoma anymore."
Oh.
And I said, "Well, what about the weight loss? I mean, I've lost 10, 15 pounds in the last month, and here I am. I'm such a doofus."
Well, and to begin with, you look like you're from like Biafra or something.
You know, it's so funny. My dad.
I made that name up out of Biafra.
No, my dad used to call me his Biafra boy.
I am from Bangladesh. My name is Orden from Bangladesh.
I told my dad used to tell me when I was a kid. He's like, if you had 5 flies on your eyelids, I couldn't tell you apart from one of these commercials. I know. Seriously, can we scratch that from the interview? But I'm already
$2 will buy Owen cable TV for a year. Give your dollars.
Yeah. So I've been looking at myself in the mirror, going, "Wow, my abs look great, babe. This is great. Like all this paleo thing is working." And my mother-in-law's like, "You have cancer." So, long story short, we go into the doctor. Chest pains is what brought me in. I mean, really severe writhing on the floor, chest pains, and which have long subsided. They don't hurt like that at all anymore. But they had me in there, and they had diagnosed me. And now that I went in to actually look at the tissue, and they said, we don't know what it is. It could be lymphoma. It could be worse than lymphoma. And by worse, they mean it's this thing called, and you guys are the first to hear this. I mean, I literally left the doctor's office 20 minutes ago. Something called myeloma or something, like thymoma, something like that, which is, again, could be nothing. Could just be painful, or it could be something that, he says at my age and at this stage, it's very curable. But he's like, in some older cases, bigger cases, it may not be as easy. So right now my options are, once we figure it out, but in a worst case scenario, it's chemo. In another worst case scenario, it's thoracic surgery. They're actually going to cut my chest open, and pull the thing out. So, yay!
Yeah, that should be fun. I mean, that's wow. If it's thymoma, I mean, that's pretty rare. I mean, that's not something they see every day.
Is that a thyroid thing then?
It's a thymus thing.
Thymus thing, yeah. There you go. I thought it was the yo mama thing at first.
Yo mama
he's
thing.
like thymoma. I was like, yo mama. You know
yo
what
mama.
I mean? Like, you want to go there, doc? But we're just trying to stay lighthearted,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's usually like it deals with a lot of times people with like weird muscular disorders get that, and so it's odd.
Is it cancer?
Well, it's tumor related, but I don't know if it's really cancer. Normally, it's.
All right.
I think cancer is like malignant cells. Okay. You know what I mean? That's what I think, because I asked him the same question. I was like, is that cancer? And he says, I hate that term. He's like, you throw cancer and everybody gets this, like, old bald lady in their head. You know what I mean? He's like, that. There's so many different levels and things like that, which is an answer I can appreciate, because someone says, I want to go viral on YouTube. It's just like, oh my gosh, here we go with that again.
Yeah, right.
But I'll tell you, I'm in an optimistic
but
place.
You're a plumber. You're not going to go viral on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. Unless you're that golf club guy. Buy my golf club.
That guy. Yeah.
Buy my golf club. Yeah, I can't even remember what he was saying, but
we were going to do
us.
We had a plumber. We were going to do a thing. Will it flush?
I love that. I love that.
Yeah,
and it was for this one particular model of toilet that was supposed to be really good, and so we were gonna do like tests and things and have some fun with that. Never ended up happening though, oddly enough. But
that's how you go viral. You know what I mean? To swing it back around. I'm doing a presentation in a couple of months over in DC, and I'm going to answer the question, how do you go viral? And it's not going to be a buy from me commercial. It's going to be more of this, sketch comedy type of video. It's going to be something more like a thematic video, and you got to have, like will it flush, or we're playing with an idea that I did in high school drama, as a matter of fact, and we're kind of bringing it back, right? It's called Bet Your Appendage, and it's a game show like thing where you got to bet your fingers and you bet your arm and that sort of thing. But the idea is that it's mass appeal. It's mass appeal, and somehow you tie it back into your brand. Maybe you don't. I mean, maybe you just wanted a viral video that your brand has a link to in the back. But for the most part, you want to be creating a video that's designed to earn you money. As opposed to like, oh, I saw your viral video. Great. Did you buy the product? Oh, was there a product? Yeah. You want to make money on your videos, and that's the core of what we do.
Well, and that's what I'm always telling people, that I'm like, do you want 1 million views or do you want $1 million? I mean,
good.
Who cares? I mean, if you get 50 views, but it brings you $50,000, who cares?
Yeah.
Why are you worried about that?
I have a couple of money videos. And my constant goal on my YouTube channel over at Videospot is to duplicate the successful money videos. Now it's a handful, it's a percentage of all the videos on my channel. I think we have like 200 some odd videos on the channel, and maybe 5 to 6 of those are our money videos. And they're in the top 10 every month, and those are the ones where we're getting phone calls and we're getting emails and leads.
Tell me about those videos. By the way, if you hear a dog barking,
was Sparky saying something in the back?
That was Sparky, yeah. What boy? What? Lassie fell down a well? Jimmy fell down the well. Okay.
You there?
Yeah, we're here. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Are you there?
I am here.
Okay.
Excellent.
Good. So tell those 6 videos. Tell me what they are.
These are all of them are tutorial videos, and all of them, except for one, are whiteboard videos, meaning that it's me in front of a whiteboard, actually drawing and writing, out something that I'm showing someone to do. And, it's not like my favorite kind of video to do, but it's my viewers. That's what they want. So what we're trying to do now, like for example, one of them is called How to Create a Silo Structure in your website, which is still a very viable web design strategy.
I remember that one. Yep, I remember.
Yeah, maybe not as effective today as it was. I think today a strong backlinking strategy probably replaces the silo strategy. But how to create a great homepage.
Yeah.
And we talk about rows and columns. And the new one is how to develop a landing page with a sidebar and what your sidebar should look like, those types of things. But they're real nuts and bolts, and I'm actually drawing things out on the whiteboard. I have another one that it's an hour long. Nobody watches the whole thing, but it's a webinar. It's set up like this. Somebody introduces me, and then I go through the slides, and it's basically how to create a 5-point conversion funnel. but again, real nuts and bolts, you know, type of stuff. And those aren't, you know, nobody's calling me and saying, hey, you know, come speak at my event or anything. They're saying, hey, can you design my website for me? Or the biggest calls that I get are, would you consult with me on my website design? I've already hired a guy, and they're not moving fast enough. He doesn't know what a silo is. Can you show us how to do that? And that's where I want them, because that's, you know, that's a $300 to $600 revenue, but that often converts into higher. Well, you know, why don't you just design my whole site and other upsells that we have in place?
Yeah, I love that consultant idea there. You know, that whole field is great. I appreciate that model, because I've seen, you know, you make more money with the consulting than actually doing the work sometimes, especially on a per hour, per minute basis. I mean, it's really a very viable way to do things. And
who wants to do the work after doing it for 10 years? You know what I mean? Right. It's like you're constantly, you know, updating your lead pages account. Well, now it's like you tell the client, you got to get lead pages, you know, and then I'll show you what to do. You know, and you're keeping all your tools updated. Now, we do that stuff for us, but really, if you want me to go in there and tinker with the meat of your website, you're going to pay a premium for that labor. You know what I mean? Because I think what happens is a lot of times is customers think, well, you know, a web designer is going to cost me like $45 to $65 an hour, but then they want Owen Hemsath YouTube star to do it. It's like, no, that's going to cost, you know, more $125 an hour, because you're getting me underneath the hood of your car, and that's not a place I want to be. So there's a premium for my time, and because the way that I do things, I tweak things up a little bit. So in most cases, it's like, well, let's bring him on as a consultant, and then he can direct our team. You know, I'm doing a workshop in Orange County in a month for exactly that. They hired me to be their YouTube guy, and I started telling them, like, what you're going to pay for me to go in there and optimize your description box. You got somebody on staff that you can do that. I'll just show them what to do. You know, it's funny you say that, because I've had that conversation with people before, and they're, you know, well, gee, can you do this for me? I'm like, well, yeah, it's gonna cost you $1,000. Well, it's not worth $1,000 for that. I said, well, yeah, but it is to me. Yeah, sure. It might not be worth $1,000 to get that done, but I said that's what it is to me to do it for you. You know, I mean, your time is limited. I mean, there's only so many hours in a day, and you know, knowing some of who your audience is, I think we're all trying to make as much money as we can. You know, with the limited resources that we have, and time being one of those things. And so if you can show 10 people through a webinar how to create a great video versus actually creating 10 of these videos, you know, the money makes up for itself.
No, absolutely. I
but
agree.
You have all your time. You have all your time back. So you spend 2 hours on a webinar teaching these 10 people that, you know, your tricks versus you know, the 7 hours times 10 it actually takes to create the video yourself. Right. You know, you've just bought back your whole month.
Yeah, and I completely agree. And I've found the same type of thing, that there are some videos that you'll have that will just bring it, you know. Yeah. Ironically, one of mine that brought it for a couple of years, something odd happened to it. All of a sudden, when you go to it, it says that I have decided to block it from being seen in the United States. Yeah. And I have no idea. Nobody can. I've asked a million people about this. Nobody can figure out what the heck is going on there, why it happened. But that thing was on page 1, you know, doing business for like 2 years, and all of a sudden it disappeared. And I couldn't figure out why. And I can't even go and view it. It tells me that, you know, I've blocked it in the United States, and I'm like, I haven't blocked anything.
Yeah, bring it back, YouTube.
So what do? You can't do anything, can you?
Well, you know, honestly, it was a video that was getting a little old and was promoting something a little bit older anyway, so it's time to just redo a new one, I guess. But we'll see if we can bring the magic again.
Did you try calling Mr. Tube?
I did, and he didn't answer the phone, so, you know, what are you going to do?
But, you know, that's the value. I see a lot of video marketers in some of the circles that we hang in mutually, and I see a lot of them building videos out and kind of creating commercials for local, but they're not building their own channels. And the value, I don't want to be a YouTuber, I don't want to be a vlogger, or whatever the case might be. It's like I get that, but when you get to a certain point, I have what most of us would consider a small channel, right? I'm right up on that 3,000 subscriber mark. My views are right around 20,000 a month, so it's a small channel, but I'm in a level where I get access to YouTube customer service because of the activity on my channel. And that is so valuable. Not everybody gets that. You have to have something like 15,000 views a month or 15,000 minutes a month. I'm not sure what the metric is. But when you're a video marketer and you're going to be predominantly using YouTube, meaning you're not like trying to do experimental vessel stuff or Periscope stuff or Meerkat stuff, you're a YouTube and a Facebook video person, then it really pays to become an expert in the platform so that you have access to the experts in the platform, such as YouTube customer service, which I think a lot of people don't even know exists. I mean, you actually can get on the phone with someone from YouTube who can answer your questions, but you have to meet this certain qualification.
Right. They are getting a lot better and more generous with that, too. They used to be very, very stingy with that, and they've gotten a lot better. I think that the new lady in charge there has really upped that part of things, and made it a much better place a much better company to work with.
Yeah,
and that's in a lot of regards too, not just with that, but with a lot of the things they do. So they have definitely improved.
So what, did you drug Reese? He's being quiet now.
I heard my wife say something, and then the front door shut. So I think she took him out for a walk.
Oh, good.
So he has gone quiet. He has gone silent. He usually doesn't bark during the day. It was odd that he did today. Usually it's as soon as it gets dark out, he tends to do that. But and I think we just lost Owen.
Owen?
I heard boo, and now he's gone. So
that's weird.
He has disappeared. So hopefully we'll see if we can get him back here in a second. But if not, we'll just continue on as if nothing ever happened.
Well,
who needs him anyway, right?
Well, let's see.
Do you really need him?
Let's see if we can. No,
there. He comes.
Hey.
Oh, there he is. Okay.
It's funny the sounds that Skype makes. It's like everyone knows that boop 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 boop. But then when you want to like join an existing call, it's like blah, 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 blah. It's like, who's on your sound team over there, guys? Like, this really could be a little bit more joyous. Like, when my kids are playing their little video games on my phone, and they grab a coin, it's just like I rejoice with them because the sound is so cheery. You know what I mean? Ding, ding. And I'm just like, I'm so proud of you, son. The whole house is energized because of that. But I'll tell you what, if I could transition that into a YouTube tip, we've been using a lot more sound effects.
So what drugs are you on now, man?
I'll tell you, I'm on an anti-anxiety thing that I am loving right now. But I really...
Me too!
I'm not a pharma guy. I don't care for all that stuff. But let me tell you, when you're sitting here...
I'm old and I take a lot of pills, so...
Do you really?
I can officially say I take none except for allergy pills once in a great while.
Yeah.
I've lost 40 pounds. If I lose another 50, that'll help.
You're trimming down. I actually take like Sweet Tarts like pills or those Smarties.
Nice. There you go.
Because it makes me feel more mainstream, because now everybody's on a pharmaceutical. So it's like, well, I'll just pop, I'm over here at the coffee shop.
Grab
I'll just
an
take two of these.
Yeah. My grandmother used to call them pills, which is probably really, really bad. You want some of these pills?
Well, didn't they used to call Coca-Cola like an effervescent or something like that?
Oh, I've got an old Pepsi thing, and it talks about how it's delicious and healthful, and it has the health benefits.
Wow, amazing! Yeah, because you'll believe anything.
It's the old snake oil thing,
Oh yeah, I think it.
Well, one thing you guys do have to look forward to, possibly, because most men, as they get older, have to take those old man pills.
The Viagra?
No. Well, there's that, but that's not what I was talking about.
What are these old man pills? I'm petrified now.
The enlarged prostate.
The saw palmetto.
Well, yeah, but
you should start taking that stuff now, right?
Yeah. Well, the saw palmetto I never found worked very well.
Really?
Yeah, modern pharmaceuticals will take care of that.
Well, I'll tell you that's why I
see. Owen, I've got a daughter your age, so that's how old I am.
You know, I couldn't tell though by looking at you because I mean, obviously you're older than I am, but you know, you carry yourself well. It's like you got a cane.
Well,
you know what I mean?
It helps being a fat bastard.
Yeah. And Owen, before you were here, Steve and I were talking about this, and I said that I said Owen's actually a few years younger than me. He just looks like he's older.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah. Well, that's the cancer, you jerk.
Yeah.
But it's neat to be. I'll tell you what I struggle with is like these. I'm working with a guy, Josh Coffey, who's really just a fantastic guy. 22 years old, successful, thriving business, internet marketing company, and he's got a company. You know what I mean? He's building out an agency, and it's kind of like I really like the guy, but then at night I'm just like, what a jerk, you know. He got to have smartphones all through high school, and seeing like these young guys, start to just enter life with the knowledge and the know-how because it's always been around.
We were talking about this, and I graduated from high school 42 years ago. Okay.
So it was a big red building, and there was 5-year-olds in there with you.
And we walked
carrying slates
10 miles each way in the snow.
Yeah, exactly.
But when I graduated from high school, there weren't the options there are now. It was like go to college. That was it. That's all I could do. Now, if I was graduating from high school now, I doubt very much I'd go to college. I doubt it.
Oh yeah.
I just go out and find the courses that I needed to take to learn what I wanted to learn, and just go do it. But back then, boy, and so this thing called the internet, it's really opened up a lot of options. I mean, Ray and I talked to a guy that's probably like 5 years old, Zach Loveday. No, he's older than that. But he was like an eBay millionaire, like at age 12. And then they changed their algorithm, so he didn't know what to do. So he went off, as they call it in England, university. So he went off to university. He's sitting there taking business courses from guys that never owned a business. He said, "This is ridiculous," and he quit.
Yeah.
And he started doing affiliate marketing, and he's making all kinds of money. And he's 5 years old. I mean,
that's great, man. Because I'm challenged by that. I'm glad I got my degree. My degree really helped me to craft a video. I mean, I studied media, so we talked a lot about.
I did the same thing. I went through the same.
Well, it's a moot point because I got a degree, and I got a degree in journalism, but I mostly didn't show up for class. No, I did.
Yeah.
I show up,
and I know what you mean. And
with
my son, I have a stepson, and his dad's great. And his dad, all of us, between the three of us, my wife and him, we all have degrees. With Kanan, we're like looking at like we want him to be at an expert level before high school in certain areas, and like programming. He goes to a programming camp every summer. Big Minecraft. He calls it Minecraft. He's so funny. He's learning how to read. Minecraft. But he, the idea is that he's already a pro, and college would either be to be more of a philosophical adventure for him to get exposed to how to think the wrong way. You know what I mean? Because I think a lot of colleges it's more about how you vote than anything else.
Yeah.
But and I mean that. I mean I went to
college. I hear you. Yeah.
So
you mean there are liberal professors?
There might be one or two on a college campus.
I heard that somewhere.
Well, you know what I don't like though. I don't like memorization. I don't like to memorize stuff that I'm going to forget in 6 months. I just think it's stupid. And I thought it was stupid. Yeah, I thought it was stupid when I was in college. How I learn is by doing. So when Traffic Geyser came out and they had all the coaching, I just did it. I fed videos out. That's how I learned it. For instance, how sales and marketing, I learned by doing it. And I learned by doing. So I don't know that But anyhow, it's a moot point because
You know, what's funny, when I was in college, we did and I'm sure, Owen, you're probably the same type of thing. We edited videos, we created videos, we worked in the studios and all that.
And those are the classes I did best in, by the way.
Well, let me tell you what happened, though. As I'm getting my degree and all this great stuff that I just learned and everything, I watched as they rolled every piece of equipment out to the trash.
That's right.
Yep, right there with you, man.
Well, yeah, because you had to have a Grass Valley switcher and these big 2-inch video machines and everything else. When I was,
that was a little before that time, but
because I'm
the SD cameras, get the SD cameras, and like I learned how to edit in 4:3, you know what I mean,
right.
and Final Cut Pro. And the very next year, it was all the HD stuff had come in, and so I was lucky enough to be at that crux where I was still in college, so I still got all the other stuff. But it was almost like that first year was I couldn't use any of the that Fashion Sense video. That's in standard definition. It's in a big square box on my YouTube channel. That was only a couple of years ago.
Fashion Sense with a C.
Fashion Sense with a C, yeah.
Yeah. But all of a sudden you're going to have all these views on that.
Yeah, I know, right? And negative comments like, you're a jerk, what a stupid video.
You dress like an idiot.
Yeah. Thank you, YouTube community,
Did your mom have any kids that lived? Yeah, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's they've improved a lot of that quite a bit, but man, it is still such a negative death zone inside of YouTube with the comments.
Oh, I know.
Absolutely amazing.
I got a comment the other day on one of my recent videos. It was because I do a personal vlog where I call it Owen on the go. We're changing it because I get I do it in the car. I get a lot of complaints about it's not safe or whatever, so I'm going to stop doing it in the car. It's distracting from the content. But
Owen on the go.
See, that's funny because I've done that before too. I thought that was one of the greatest things.
Now, as you get older, it'll be Owen has to go all the time.
Yeah, right. Owen has to go. Brought to you by Saw Palmetto and Merck.
Merck.
When you get that. So, but you know what? What I did was it was like it's a vlog.
You can always tell when old guys are going to the bathroom, in a public john, because it's like tink, 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 tink.
Is that your urinalysis?
Yes,
your analysis of it. You're not supposed to look, Steve. You're not supposed to there's supposed to be at least like a one stall difference, in between you and the next guy. I'll actually wait.
Urinate.
One opens up.
Urinate.
Exactly.
If you had blonde hair, you'd be a 10.
So I'm almost there. But as I was saying, the comment was seriously, this video is just you talking. And I'm thinking to myself, that's most videos, right? But so
how did you know? How did you know? It's just me talking.
Back, I said, hey, appreciate your feedback. What would you prefer to see? If you're willing to leave a comment, like maybe you're willing to watch more of my videos. So how can we improve the channel? How can we make it more like a channel you want to be a part of? And then he wrote, oh, no, never mind. And I just thought, Ray, going back to your point, here's this guy trying to be rude. He was trying to be rude. He's trying to be a jerk. And then I was like, just nice to him. It was just kind of like, oh, hey, do you know that YouTube creators actually comment back now? You know what I mean? It's not like we just allow you to dominate the comment section of our page, and he didn't want any part of that, which is how much better YouTube is at the commenting thing, and the community is so that creators need to be commenting back. And I've actually been using the discussion tab a lot. You guys ever use the discussion tab?
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like someone's news feed or kind of like their timeline on Facebook. So when I meet a new creator that I like, and I've watched like 5 of their videos, I won't comment on each video. I'll go to the discussion board and be like, hey, I just watched 5 of your videos, really like your stuff, and just, da-da-da-da-da. And not always do I get responses back, but I should be, And so that the discussion board, I think, is an underused feature of YouTube.
Yeah, you actually watched all of Daryl Eves' videos before Bid Summit last year.
Yeah, almost all of them.
4 hours worth. Now, are you a little bit OC, Owen?
You know, I like to learn.
They've got pills for that.
Are they made with saw palmetto?
I don't. Hey. You know, he. I know Saul Palmetto. He was a friend of mine.
The lawyer, attorney guy.
Yeah.
Just call Saul.
Saul.
You know, it's funny, but I actually, call Saul. There you go.
There it is. That's what it is. You know, I watched all of Daryl's videos because I'd never heard of Daryl Eves before, and here's this guy with like 80 at the time, like I think it was like 40,000 subscribers at the time, and I felt. I was like, oh my gosh, I've missed out on all of this stuff. So I felt like I had to go through his whole channel in order to catch up, to not be, to not kind of be, left behind in YouTube marketing. And I'm glad that I did, because it was from there that I actually engaged with Daryl. He did an interview with me on a summit that I had done a couple years ago, and from there we've become colleagues. We've become friends even. He texted me personally when he heard about, all of this health stuff I've been dealing with, and I thought that was really cool. And, it all comes from that engagement point, and that's, that is still my strategy. If I want to meet somebody, I geek out on their content so that when we do talk, I can talk about it more than just academic.
Well, and that's actually the way you're supposed to do it. If you're going to engage with somebody, in social media, engage with them. Don't pretend like you're doing it. Now, watching 4 hours worth of video, well, okay, that's may not be necessary, but good job.
Right.
Yeah, good job.
Right.
I mean,
the
other thing though, actually, and I'm giving you a hard time.
I know you are.
But I often thought about doing that because I would pick up all this kind of stuff about what was going on in YouTube from Daryl, little stuff in the back office I didn't know about. So when he mentioned it at the Vid Summit, I thought, I've always kind of thought about doing that, but I'm too lazy, so I'm not going to do it. But
there's an honesty in you, Steve.
I know. Well, I'm a fat, lazy bastard is what I am.
Just minus the Scottish accent.
That's busted.
The other part of it is that YouTube can be like a podcast, right? Like I'm listening to 4 hours of Daryl Eves, but I'm cleaning my garage at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm doing the dishes, and then when something piques my interest, you go back and you watch it, and you kind of like rewind it. And I don't know if you guys are like me, where I do a lot of podcasts. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and rather casually, but I'll hear an idea that just puts my brain on its own trip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's like, oh, what a great idea! Here's how I could use it. I could da. Before I know it, the podcast's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
I missed all of it, but I got that one idea, and next thing I'm back in my Evernote typing up the ideas I got from that podcast.
That's very funny, because it's exactly what I do. Almost to a T. And I listen to, it's been mentioned on here before. I listen to probably about 5 hours of podcasts every day.
Oh, wow.
Just, while I'm doing other things, and while I'm running to the bank or going to the supermarket, working on a project, whatever. I'm always listening to podcasts. Some of them are sports related and things, but
that's
a
all
lot
right.
of them are business related. So
I'm glad you listened to the sports related, because I started listening to Serial, which is the story of a teenager who killed somebody and the progressive social worker who wants to convince everyone he didn't. That's usually really funny when people know Serial. But the Serial it's fascinating. It's a fascinating look at this murder case. But
was that a joke?
Almost.
Oh.
Almost. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. It almost landed, just like us on the moon in the 70s. But, the thing about mixing it up a little bit, see, I listen to, like, all business. And then you throw in some of this pop culture stuff to kind of just, like, shake your mind loose a little bit. You know what I mean? It's kind of like jumping in the pool after the workout,
Yeah, it's interesting. And so let's play a little game. What are some of your favorite podcasts? Because everyone always likes to hear that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's good. I really enjoy the Michael Hyatt's podcast.
Nice.
Is it called This Is Your Life?
You know what? That's a good question.
I think it's called This Is Your Life. He rebranded the whole thing, and so that's Michael Hyatt's podcast is like part of my personal development. It's more than just a podcast. It's personal development, and my wife listens to it as well because he often goes into your marriage, your relationships, your family life, and stuff like that. So it's a conversation piece for me and my wife as she starts to become more businessy. But I'm also listening to Serial, which is fascinating. The guy is clearly guilty. I mean, it's like she hasn't brought up one piece of information that has swayed me for any moment in time. She's always just like, but they said that there was a payphone there, but we don't have a record of a payphone. So were the police lying to cover this all up? Find out next on the next Serial. You know, and it's just nonsense. But it's murder mystery.
It's like my old the old TV show I was on, Ghost Hunters. You spend every week hunting ghosts, but you never actually find one.
Yeah, you know, it's real similar. It's real similar. And that I really like. I like the Social Toolkit by Social Fresh. That's a great podcast. They're always talking about new tools.
Oh, see, I'll have to look that one up. I don't know that one.
Yeah, the team at Social Fresh, I feel, is really innovative and, you know, social media focused. I have a very close relationship with their leadership team. I've done video work with them before in the past. But I really like the direction they went in their new podcast because it's always about tools. And Jason, who hosts the show, are both really funny. So I like that show. Michael Stelzner's new show, the Social Media Examiners, is cool. It's a great show. I think for me, kind of ran out of air. It's funny. It just seems, you know, I've heard it all. But the new show where it's like these 5-minute quick little, you know, I really like that.
Sure. Oh, that's very cool. Very cool stuff. And now I've got 2 new ones that I've subscribed to here.
And then the last one I'll plug is my friend Jason Horton's new show. Jason Horton is a YouTuber. His channel is Jason Horton, and his dating tips and dating advice. But his podcast is more about like being a YouTuber in the YouTube life.
Nice.
And that's called Friends Without Benefits. He's just a really funny guy. Like, he's one of those guys where you follow him and like every one of his Facebook statuses is just funny. It's a punchline, you know?
Right. Well, that's good. Those are some great ones to add into the collection here. And you know, along that lines, 2 of my favorites for everybody listening, so you can mark these down as well. We've talked about some of these before. Pat Flynn. He's got a couple of podcasts that I love to listen to each time. It's the Smart Passive Income podcast and the Ask Pat podcast. And then and I don't know if you know these guys, Jason and Jeremy over at Internet Business Mastery, and Jeremy is he was a guy from Salt Lake area, so he was somebody that I know. But those guys, those are probably my two top podcasts as far as that kind of business goes. You know, it's interesting because the second one sounds really interesting. I want to check that out. Pat Flynn is, I met him just recently at Social Media Marketing World. Great guy, nice guy. I mean, I don't have obviously anything negative to say, and he's obviously super huge. But he's one of those guys I just don't get. I don't get like the, you know, what he's doing. But people rave about Smart Passive Income. It's, to me, it's just like, it's just another interview show, right? It's like John Lee Dumas it's interviews, you know? And it's like, is there anything else out there? I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely an interview-based show most of the time, no doubt about that. But I find it to be very, very good. Lots of good insight on that one. And Tim Ferriss has a new one too, by the way, if anyone hasn't seen that yet. Oh yeah, he's got one now, and that's actually pretty good. So there you go.
Oh, great. Add him to the list.
Yes.
And you know, check out a podcast. Listen to it for 20 minutes, and if you don't like it, skip it. Like, you know, it's like you're not like under this pressure to like podcasts. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's a great tool. As soon as it hits car radios, you're going to lose me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I will be podcasting constantly. You know, I don't even listen to AM radio anymore. I used to listen to a lot of talk radio, but podcasting's replaced that. It's just like with the headphones in and everything like that, it can be kind of uncomfortable in the car.
Talk radio's in the dumps. Just FYI.
Well, and even a lot of the big talk radio people are moving towards podcasting and self apps and things like that. So it's
Entree Leadership. I've totally forgot. That's like one of my go-tos. Dave Ramsey's it's not really his podcast, but it's his company. Entree Leadership is great. Dave Ramsey's a great example of somebody who's transitioning from radio to the digital space very well.
Yep. No, and there's a few of them like that. I know it's more political, but Glenn Beck has gone that route. He's obviously still got a huge radio show, but he started his own network.
Well, they almost have to. They almost have to, because the only thing on AM radio now that is not losing listeners is sports radio.
Yeah.
Right.
Everything else is, WLS in Chicago, one of the top talk stations, they were the first to go from top 40, from music radio, WLS, to talk radio. They were one of the first stations that Rush Limbaugh was on. They've gone from, top 5 to they're 27th in the market.
Wow.
They've lost, they got a 1% share of the market. They used to have, 4% shares, which is, in Chicago, that's huge.
I used to work for a pretty big radio network. I worked for their LA division, and big station. You guys, I don't want to slam them or anything like that, but, I was fired from there because, I was warned over and over and over, stop with all this internet stuff you're doing. Because I was selling airtime. I was selling advertising. But I had social campaigns, I had email marketing campaigns, direct lists of business owners, and auto dialing them. And it's a great little process because it auto dials, waits for the voicemail. Leaves the voice message and says, like, hey, it's Owen. I'm over here at the radio station and just thought out running a campaign. I think that we could both make a little money. You call back in the morning and you get this message. And you do 200,000 of those for a penny piece overnight. So all these business owners, they come in and they check their voicemails. I was told constantly, stop it, until eventually they fired me, They fired me, the number one salesperson in the company on both internet time and radio time, but they hated the methods. They hated that I was going to, new spaces to do this. Well, just recently, I was over at Social Media Marketing World and sitting down at Martin Shervington's event.
Uh-oh.
He's like, hey, my name is...
Oh, there he is.
Who are you guys? I'm Owen. I said, so what do you do? This guy sits down at me at Social Media Marketing Conference, and he introduces himself as the new digital manager of this particular radio station.
Well, what radio station is it? You can say.
Communications.
Huh? Who? He keeps cutting out. Okay.
Well, I think we kind of lost you there.
Well, I don't want to, but I told the guy, because I'm fired for doing your job 3 years ago.
Yeah, there you go. Well, and there's a lot of stories like that people don't, companies get big, they set quote unquote rules, and if you break the rules, they want to get rid of you no matter what, and a lot of times to their own detriment. If you read the 4-Hour Work Week, Tim Ferriss has a great, and he's got a great, story about that exact thing. Number one sales guy, but not following their rules.
Yeah, that's exactly me.
I always work for small companies, so it wasn't an issue.
Right.
Not following the rules. When you're selling printing and the printing company is a $5 million a year company and there's 30 people working for it, they don't care how you sell printing as long as you're not doing anything that's going to land you in jail.
Right. And when we talk about breaking rules, we're not talking about, ethical rules. We're just saying, you must be here from 9 to 5. Well, I do all my selling from 8 to 9.
Yeah. Well, the only thing I ever saw that I had to do was when I worked for the printing company, we had a production meeting every morning that we had to be at. And it was good to know where your jobs were. And if you had a job that was going to deliver late, it was probably better if you called the customer,
Yeah.
And that was the only thing. You had to be there at that production meeting. Otherwise, they didn't care, And as long as your numbers were there, and if your numbers weren't there, then they might ask for a little bit of reporting. But they didn't care what you did and how you did it. It was fine with them as long as it was not You know, as long as it wasn't going to land them in jail. They didn't care if you landed in jail.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's true. I don't care if you end up in jail, Steve.
No.
We can podcast from prison, I think.
Yeah, I probably could.
I think you have a constitutional right to podcast from prison now.
They allow.
I'm not exactly sure, but
yeah, it's sex changes and podcasting.
Yeah, exactly. Those are it's in the book. That's what our military is dying for overseas. For the right.
In fact,
your right to
think
podcast
from
prison.
I think that the general public would have to pay for the podcasting. So, Steve, you should probably go knock over a bank or something and demand that you have the right to podcast.
I don't want to spend any more time in jail.
That's true.
Yeah, that's a great little segue. I love that.
Yeah, that's I don't know.
Well, Owen, let me ask you this: where do you see things going? What's on the horizon as far as video marketing and marketing in general over the next year or so?
Yeah, like from an industry standpoint.
Yeah, from an industry standpoint, what's the next big thing that we should be paying attention to?
I think everybody should be looking at monetization through sponsorships, whether you're sponsoring a video or somebody is sponsoring yours. You know, the paid model is going to be the new model, and Facebook's proven it, right? Facebook wants to get pages, organic reach down to 0%, and it's so funny that they're struggling to do that. You'd think that all they have to do is push a button and 0% reach, but it's down like 6 to 10%, right?
Oh,
they want to get that down to 0. Twitter's going to go the same direction. We'll see about LinkedIn, but paid is the way to go. So YouTube, you've got Vessel, right, where you've got this Vessel model that's a subscription model. So there's no escaping this model. Where we as video marketers and businesses, you've got to look at like how you can leverage that. Stop fighting it, right? I mean, I know you don't want it. We all don't want it, but that's because it's new, right? So you're looking at how can I leverage this Vessel model? Are there YouTubers that I can sponsor? And if you find 10 small channels like my channel, those small channels will take almost nothing for you to sponsor them. They just want a sponsor. So find 10 of those channels and sponsor them for $50, right? You're paying $500, which is cheaper than a magazine ad, but you're getting your links and your name and your commercial and your product out there to all these, potentially at 2,000 people, 10,000 different audience members that are hyper engaged and committed to this creator. So that's a really good place to be. Now, on the flip side, you're thinking, okay, well, I'm a local business. Let's say like I own a local hair salon. How can I speak to my – can you hear me?
Oh, yes. Sorry, my brain is flipping out here.
How can I speak to my vendors, right? How can I speak to the people that pay for it's their shampoo that I'm using, or it's their hair dryers that we're using, or it's their aprons that we're using? How can we get them to pay for our next 10 videos? Right.
No, and
looking
it's
at
funny
that model
because
is huge.
We actually tried that with a couple of clients a few years back, and they wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
They wouldn't do it. And they were a company that was such a specific niche market, and there were these niche shows that fit perfectly, and it was like, just give them $50. And no, we can't do that. Are you out of your mind? It was sports equipment, and there was a show about that exact type of sports equipment and things. And he was probably getting 5,000 people watching this show each week or so. And for $50, they could have advertised on every one of those shows in front of 5,000 of their target audience.
And they never go away. It never goes away. It's
Yep.
not like a TV show where you're the sponsor on that TV show for a month,
half
or whatever,
hour,
maybe.
Yeah.
But then after that, you're gone. You disappear. Like when that video is out and your name is in there, and there's a little commercial with you in there. There's 1,000 different ways to do it. YouTube is brought to you today by. Or you could have one of your products be reviewed or unboxed or something like that. There's a lot of different ways to do it. But it's on the web and it's there for all time. So imagine 3 years down the road and something happens where the owner of Salon de Chevaux gives $1 million to cancer, and now their videos are through the roof because they're in the media. And that your video is attached to that. You're sponsored one of those videos. So it's a great long-term investment, and it's going to be the way that YouTube operates in the future. YouTube is going to adjust the vessel, right, in the future. And it's something that I think we should be looking at. How do I bring my client together, right, with their vendors to create this new content plan? You know, I was sitting in one of my clients is a veterinarian office, and their reps are constantly asking them, hey, where can we give you guys money? You know what they did last year? They said, hey, why don't you pay for a radio to come out? And the radio station came out for $3,000. It was like 94.9 out here in San Diego. And these 3 punk kids came out with their little, like, you know, skateboards and their microphones, like, playing rock music, which is like, hey, buddy, like, you know, come on, get a free keychain. You know, we'll get you guys, you know, free frozen yogurt. Winner of the drawing, all right? And they thought they were so cool. It did nothing for the business. And I'm like, guys, never again do we invest in radio. We invest in the internet. That's what we're doing now, is we're partnering like their pharma company, their pharma reps, with a series of videos that promote the pharma product, and it's all being paid for. So
nice. And you know, and on the other side of that, you know, if you're a creator, gosh, I mean, get a sponsor. You know, I think that's one of the biggest things. I see people all the time creating great content, but if somebody doesn't come to them and go, hey, I'll give you $20 to put this, you know, link in there, they don't bother.
Yeah.
No, and they think that the penny that YouTube is willing to pay them is going to be enough, and for very few people is that enough. You know, and not everything's going to get $1 million.
It won't continue to be enough too. Like the money that PewDiePie is making, you know, and Shaytards, for example, he's on the number one, and Shaytard is or Shay. YouTube is already looking for ways to get more of their money. So right now it's like this 20, it's like the 70-30 split. YouTube is already looking, well, how do we get more of their 20%?
Right.
Because YouTube's not profitable on AdSense. So it's going to be a 90-10. These people are going to lose out, and that's why the smart marketers are already looking for better deals.
Well, and it'll be interesting to, you know, because the way I see it, and the way I've always seen it is, you know, everybody goes around the whole YouTube monetization thing like that. At what point are they going to go, hey, you know what, you're using my platform for free, and you're making money, but I'm making nothing.
Yep.
So, you know, we do have to be careful with that, too. I think there's a possibility of, you know, some real lashback at some point. But right now, it's, you know, it's free game. And the way I see it is, and I tell people this all the time because they're like, well, how do I get a sponsor? I can't get somebody to sponsor me. It's like, well, you don't really need one. You know, you don't necessarily have to have a, quote, sponsor in order to get this stuff done, because there's a couple of little words that you can use. And it's called made possible by.
Sure.
Okay? And you know, it's different than sponsored by.
Yeah.
And you can do some very cool stuff with made possible by. And what I mean by that is, you know, let's say, you've got a channel about cats. You know, everybody loves these cat videos, right? Well, you're not going to get Purina to sponsor you. Maybe you can't do that. Maybe that's too hard to do. However, can you get an Amazon account?
Yeah, there you go.
You know, and then all you have to do is get the link for buying Purina cat food and say, this is made possible by Purina.
Yeah.
Link to the Amazon. Now you get paid.
Yeah, I agree with that so wholeheartedly, Ray. I love that strategy. I just wrote a blog last week called 5 Ways to Make Money on YouTube, and AdSense isn't one of them. That I promoted that exact strategy. Like, you're doing a family vlog. There's a lot of family vloggers out there, and you drink coffee. You know, well, you know, look at your coffee. Is it a Keurig? You know, let Keurig put an Amazon link to a Keurig. You know what I mean? While you're in there, and you're just doing it a different way. But you know, anything. It's about multiple streams of income, and you know, kind of creating $100 1,000 different ways. You know.
Well, and you know, I was I was thinking about what you said earlier, and my brain kind of shot off an idea here. But what about these YouTube cards? Imagine just reaching out to a bunch of popular videos that have no idea that cards even exist and saying, hey, I'll pay you $50 if you put this card in your video.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right?
That's really interesting. Yeah, as a traffic driver.
Absolutely. I mean, and what is that? I mean, you can do it on any video, any older video, any new video, anything. It's not like an annotation.
That's a great idea.
It's,
you got my brain spinning right now.
But yeah, I mean, that's a WSO by Ray and Owen and Steve tomorrow, live, Warrior Forum.
Yeah, and these are things. These are not ideas that whoever social media examiner is writing about in video. They're only interested in 15, 20-second video. So they're not going to be the ones to give you video strategies. You're going to be, you've got to be off kilter a little bit. You got to just kind of like look at it and think about it and say, what could I do to make money here? And invent it, and then make it happen and see if it works. Engage, and then you know what I mean? That's how we do these things. Is you just got to get creative and think outside the box, and don't wait for some thought leader. Right? That's what I mean to say when I Social Media Examiner. I'm not trying to knock them because I love that company, but I'm saying don't wait for them to come up with some strategy that you can read on a Wednesday morning, and copy. Come up with your own network with your brainstorm with your network and figure out some ideas that will work and make them happen.
There you go. Nice. Nicely done.
And I think the last sentence there was the key. Make them happen. Actually work it. Come up with a plan, work your plan.
And that card thing we just talked about there, that idea, and that's not a new idea. People have done that with links. People have done that, for ages in that sort of manner. But man, with the cards, boy, that makes life a lot easier. All you have to do is show them how to make a card, which takes 2 seconds. Send them a graphic, and pay them $20 to put it in there. Yeah. And honestly, when I say $20,
you can drive traffic. You can build a list. You can.
Oh yeah, and you'd be shocked at how many people would be like, $20? Hey, that's awesome. Thanks.
Totally.
So believe me, you could get away with that kind of thing, and it doesn't have to be your big strategy. I mean, boy, I'm giving away a lot here as my brain shoots off this stuff. But go to the person with the cat video and have them put a card that links to your Amazon account.
Yeah, and the more relevant, you can make it, the better.
Absolutely. I mean, and if you can do that, I mean, yeah, you got to test things out and see if it'll be profitable. But boy, I'll tell you, it's something that I'm willing to throw $20 at somebody who's got a popular video to see if we can, make a few sales on something. I think that'd be great. Imagine the video game market.
Oh yeah, it's big.
Those guys have no idea, and they get millions of views from people that need things.
That's great. I love that.
There we go. There's our new tip of the week there.
Yeah, that could be. Well, hold on. Now, wait a minute. Just a second. Hold on. Oh, come on. There. And now, tip of the week with Ray, the video guy.
That's right. We got a new tip of the week. We had actually my tip of the week had to do with cards anyway, but I'm going to change it a little bit for this. I mean, cards are awesome. YouTube cards, big thing. So why not leverage other people's videos with your YouTube cards? Go out there and get them to put a card on their videos and see if you can make some cash off it that way, right? Head on out there and just message people and offer to throw them $20 to put their card on there. Or even better, here's an even better idea. Rather than throwing out that $20 to them, show them what affiliate marketing means and split the money with them.
Yeah,
that's a great idea.
Get out there and do that. I mean, it doesn't take much to have a YouTube card and offer that to somebody out there that has a popular video but maybe doesn't know how to monetize it. Musicians, video game video people, all that kind of stuff. They don't have any clue. They do it for fun, and they get tons and tons of views. Of course, the video game people, I don't think anybody watching them spends money, so that might be a tougher one. But you do get the crowds there at least. But there you go. That's my tip of the week there. It's
that's a good tip.
Impromptu one.
Yeah. Bravo.
Yeah.
I think that could be a business unto itself if you got some. All right. Well, they're going to kick us off the air here shortly. So, Owen, thank you. We've had a lot of fun with this one this week. This has been really good.
I'm glad I could make it. I always have a good time with you guys.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and we appreciate you jumping in here and doing this for us. And hopefully, if you liked this, then of course, let us know. Like us on iTunes, like us on Facebook, do all that kind of fun stuff, and show us love.
Actually, I've never promoted this, but if you go to videomarketingmadnessradio.com, and there's a link there to leave a review and like us on iTunes, and then Ray's got massive bonuses.
What? He does? I didn't even know that.
Yeah. You didn't even know about that.
I did not.
I think one of them is that car you're moving out of.
Yes. It's a 1992 car that you can have just for doing that.
I got a 1997 Mercury station wagon.
Nice. Mine's a 2002 same car, not a station wagon though.
Chicks dig it.
Yeah, it's a shaggin' wagon.
Well, there you go. Well, thank you everybody for joining us again this week, and until next week. Keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars.
Oh, jeez.
That is beautiful. I might
get sued for that one.
Made me cry.
So
it's the online marketing radio show, Video Marketing Madness with Ray the Video Guy, and I'm Steve Sleeper, and our guest today has been, and I always mispronounce your last name. It's Sath, right?
Well, then why stop now?
So Owen Hemsath, or
that's it, Owen Hemsath. Yeah.
See, I'm pronouncing it right now. I've only known you for like 3 or 4 years, and I still can't.
That's it, right? And finally, pretty soon you'll be like my wife. She'll start pronouncing it correctly too. But
it's Chinese, and Chinese names are difficult.
I was born on the Great Wall, as a matter of fact.
But the Great Wall. He did tell me I didn't look that old.
See, this is how generous I am with my words. That's how you repay me.
Yeah. Today's show made possible by
Aweber, the easy way to do email marketing. If you want to start doing email newsletters, building lists, and selling products through email marketing, then head on over to raythevideoguy.com/Aweber.
And you can like our Facebook page at facebook.com/videomarketingmadness. Get plenty of useful tips and news of the week. And one of Ray's Facebook mastermind groups is he's got like 100 of them.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but anyhow, it's groups/online video marketers in Facebook's, and that's the biggest one, and that's where you can get views for your videos and questions answered. Although sometimes it's just easier to Google the question, but if it's something you can't get from Google, then go ahead and ask it.
That's right. Well, sometimes you get more trusted answers from people you trust than just random.
Oh, that's true.
Things on Google.
There you go.
And sometimes you don't.
And as we always say, on Sunday on church is it's your opportunity to serve. When people ask you the question, it's a benefit to you to be able to serve and give back. So
I always respond with Google it. I'm a jerk. I'm a jerk and a fat bastard.
That's right.
Yeah. So anyhow, well, hey guys, this has been what is it? This has been fun. This has been real. It hasn't been real fun.
There you go. You almost got it right. You had it right.
I'm gone next week.
What? Oh man, I don't even know if we'll have a show. I don't know how to press the buttons.
Yeah.
We'll figure it all out. We'll see.
Yeah. So anyhow, but we'll probably return on the 28th. I got somebody booked for the 28th.
Excellent.
And I think I got somebody booked for. Now wait a minute. What's next week? Okay, the 21st. What's today? The 7th. Okay, so I got somebody booked for the 21st and probably the 28th and the 4th.
Excellent.
Well,
there you go.
So let's wrap it up with the jingle.
He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy.